But for the first time, we have Jon Ramsey and Geraldo Rivera to discuss how far we've come and how far we need to go. Jon, thank you very much for taking this opportunity. I know how difficult this is to have to keep reopening these chapters of your life, but I know you want closure and you want the truth to come out. So thank you for being here. Geraldo, as always, what is your perspective now as we have Jon Ramsey here about where your head was when you did that mock trial and where you are today?
Well, mock trials and moot courts, as you know, Chris, are not that unprecedented. They're not that extraordinary. And I'll get to the conclusion they reached in a second, but let me just say to Jon Ramsey that I deeply apologize to you for what you and your family have suffered, how you have lost your wife to cancer, one child to that terrible car crash, and of course what happened to JonBenet, 6 years old, who would now be 34 years old, which is an incredible fact, how long this case has been front row center in the American consciousness. So when I say I am sorry, I don't apologize for my reporting. I believe that at least half the reporters and half the nation believe that the shadow of suspicion, half the Boulder Police Department, at least those who have not retired or those who have retired because of this case, believe it. But I don't know what happened. I just want you to know that I lament contributing to the hurt that you have endured. I don't think, no one deserves to go through what you went through. That's my bottom line. And when I walk around, and it is with stories like yours in my head over the last 54 years of my career, it is a burden to me. It's a soulful burden. And again, man to man to you, I apologize, and I am sorry for everything you have gone through, Jon.
Jon,
well, thank you.
What do you have to say, and what do you want people to know about what needs to happen?
Well, we want two things to happen. You know, we've been critical of the police for 28 years for not accepting help.
And rightly so.
This case could have been solved a long time ago, in my opinion, had the police not immediately focused on Patsy and I and only focused on Patsy and I. You know, we accepted that and told them, look, okay, we understand that. We are in the house, so we're suspect. But don't stop there. And they did. And in fact, they released, I haven't seen this documentary, so I don't know fully what's in it, but they documented, I think, the police fed false information, misleading information to the media about our potential guilt before even the evidence had been recovered and looked at. And their theory was that, okay, we think it's one of the parents, it's always the parents. We just don't know which one, so let's bring intense pressure on both of them. The innocent one will turn the guilty one in, case solved. That was the whole strategy. That was confirmed to us by the DA several years later. That was their strategy to solve the case. They knew the answer, they just didn't know which one. Intense pressure, one of them, the innocent one will confess or turn the guilty one in, and the case will be solved. That'd be easy. And of course, the media ran with it big time. It was juicy and sensational. And it was pretty bizarre in our country. This would not happen in England. People go to jail for what was done in our case. Police releasing false information, the media running with it, trying us in the court of public opinion. That's primitive behavior for a society. And the media was disgraceful, quite frankly, in our case. But they were fed by a even more disgraceful police department. And you had said at the time, and this is unusual, Geraldo will know this even better than I, very rare for
a local police department that does not have a lot of experience processing these kinds of cases to reject outside help, especially from the feds? Usually it's a statewide task force, but for the feds to come in and offer resources and it be turned away is almost unprecedented. Quickly, Jon, you believe that the DNA that they had available at the time now has new processing application, and you want that done. Explain.
Let me first say, Geraldo, I accept your apology and thank you. What we want done, two things we want done. We want the evidence that has been previously tested and never tested. We think there's some that has never been tested. We don't know that for sure, but it appears that's the case. We want that resampled by one of the cutting edge labs that's out there. It's not going to, the government, I don't think, has the technology yet to do it. An Othram Labs, a Bodie Labs, those are really cutting edge labs. Bodie did the original testing back in 1997. They came up with unidentified male DNA, still unidentified. The police, that was a real problem for the police because they already decided that we were the killers. Like, how do we explain away this unidentified DNA? And they tried for a long time to find an innocent explanation. The reason we need to retest is in order to, it plays into the second thing we want done, and that is to use this familial genealogy research approach to find the killer. And that's been wildly successful in some old cold cases. To do that, they need
covered it.
It's fascinating what's been done. But to do that research, they've got to have a different format for the DNA than what was submitted to the federal database. And I don't understand that, but that's what I'm told. So the retesting needs to be done. Hopefully we get a good sample and in the right format that then they could do the genealogy research. And I believe if we do that, there's a really good chance we can solve it. But if we don't,
well, we will be pushing for exactly that. We will stay on it. And Geraldo, first of all, I really respect what you said to Jon, and I really respect that you accepted it, Jon. You're both very strong individuals. Geraldo, this long after, do you believe that a case like this can be solved?
The Boulder police contradict or counter Jon and say that there's no test that can be done that has not been done within reason.
False.
Now, I don't know. It would seem to me 28 years later, there's no other suspect has come forward. No one, the people that they have named, the pedophiles living in Thailand and the other miserable creatures, the people who took sexual pleasure from the pictures of these children at these events that JonBenet participated in, and a lot of I think the heavy lifting that the Ramseys had in terms of their innocence was. The intruder evidence was pretty sparse. No one else has come forward as a suspect.
But they haven't done the genealogy testing that we've seen in other cases.
All I know is that the Boulder police have said they've done it. Listen,
look,
I hope you find justice.
Here's the fact.
I hope this person is.
Within the last
year,
make the last
point, Jon.
An oversight committee in the Boulder Police recommended immediate termination of 5 other 7 detectives, one of whom was a detective that worked on our case. And he was a roadblock. He was worthless. He was in charge of our case for 25 years. He was a former auto theft investigator. To think that they have done all that could be done is nonsense. My hope is that the new chief will lead the department in the proper direction and get help.
We will push for the same thing. I believe that the space between the two, Geraldo, they may have done the tests that were applicable at the time, but this genealogy research changes the shape of cases. We've seen it with ones that we're covering right now. There's no reason it could not do the same thing. In this case, it's certainly possible.
We're all on the same
John,
team here. We're all on the same team here. We all want the same thing.
Everybody wants the answer. John, I've never thought it pointed at you guys, so we'll see where it leads, and you are welcome here to make the case for the duration, and I wish you closure in this. I hope they get the answer.
Thank you, Chris.
You deserve it most of all.
Thank
Geraldo, I love you. I appreciate your candor, and we'll stay on it together. I'll need you on this one. We're going to have to push a lot of people to do things they won't want to do. Take care, both.